One of the biggest changes that has happened in Christian worship, probably in the last certainly 40 or 50 years, has been the advent of technology. Everywhere you go today, you see the overwhelming way in which technology is influencing us. It influences everything we're doing, our computers, our cell phones, all of the electronic gadgets that we have revolutionized and changed our lives. But it also has gone and come over on into our sanctuaries, and there are certain churches in town and around the country where you'll go into the sanctuary and you're just overwhelmed by the technology. It looks like you're in some sort of recording studio, and they have huge soundboards, and they have all kinds of lights and different kinds of effects in worship. And while none of these things in of themselves are bad, I think there's always a danger that in the end technology starts to drive worship instead of expressing it. And I think it's a very subtle distinction. Does technology drive worship, or is it simply used as an expression of true worship? Now, I find it interesting, if you take a look at one of the really great scenes in the Old Testament, the book of Exodus, is the story of Moses going away to Mount Sinai, and while he's gone, Aaron, the high priest, his brother, puts together a worship service for the people. And the people are kind of looking for something a little more real and a little more experiential and a little more something they can see. And so you probably all know the story, is we have the story of the golden calf. And so the people throw in all the gold, and poof, out comes this golden calf. Well, I think we all realize that in the end there was something idolatrous about that, and if you follow the story in the book of Exodus, it actually turned into a terrible conflict within the nation, and 3,000 people were killed in that battle over really what is worship and who is the real Lord. And I think for all of us today, we need to be very discerning when we ask ourselves, where is our worship coming from, and how is it being driven? Is it something coming from the Holy Spirit, something the Lord is bringing, or is it something driven by our culture and by our technology? Because if it's the latter, it's always possible we may be drifting into another chapter of the golden calf and moving away from really what worship is all about, which is something from the heart brought to our wonderful and glorious Lord.